Okay, good Shabbos. Shabbat shalom. Almost Shabbos. It's not Shabbos yet. For those that are watching, make it known it's not Shabbos. So, there's something called tax season, and then you have holiday season, and you have vacation season, right? So tax season is where everybody's busy paying taxes. Yeah, holiday season where everyone's busy going to shul or whatever. So in this week's parsha, we're introduced to the mitzvah of Shemitah. Shemitah is where we work our land for 6 years, and the seventh year we're commanded to rest, sort of like a Shabbos that we have for the week. So we have a Shemitah for the land. And everything, all our plowing, our planting, our sowing, everything has to stop. Imagine what it took to be a farmer in Israel 2,000 years ago. This year is actually a Shemitah year, so we have the same rules apply today. But imagine what it took back then. It's not just stopping work for a year. You have employees. You have a bunch of employees, and now the employees, you tell them, okay, starting whatever it is in 2 weeks or 6 months, whatever it is, we don't have work for a year. They're not going to wait around. They need to find a job. They need to find another job. Then you have your supply. You're a farmer. Let's say you're farming oranges, right? And now you have wholesalers. You have people which buy oranges from you from wherever, from Greece. They're buying oranges, Jaffa oranges, and you have suppliers that do wholesale there. And now you tell them, by the way, for the next year, I'm not going to be supplying. You have to find. They're not going to wait around. Okay, we're not going to have oranges for the next year. No oranges, no grapefruits. They're going to find another distributor. They'll find another producer. And then you have the banks. The banks are used to getting their monthly payments for their John Deere equipment or whatever farming equipment, whatever high-tech farming equipment they use today. And they want their monthly payments. And you're telling them, oh, sorry, no monthly payments for the next year. I can't. I'm not. No oranges this year. So okay, okay, no. Okay. Then there's the biggest problem. There's all big problems. The biggest problem is where you putting bread on the table. Where are you putting oranges on the table from? The oranges you could put, because the rule is that you could take as much as you can eat. You could bring home every day. Whatever oranges, you just can't work the field. You can't do business with it. In fact, anybody could take as many oranges as they want. Everyone could help themselves. And so this it's a huge mitzvah over here, to the extent that the Torah tells us that these are the mitzvahs that set at Mount Sinai, and it gives this as the example of the mitzvah. Why? Because it's such a fundamental mitzvah. Rashi asks the question, Ma Inyan Shemitah Eitzel Har Sinai? Why is Shemitah discussed at Mount Sinai? All the mitzvahs said at Sinai. And Rashi says, because just like Shemitah, every single detail of the mitzvah was given at Sinai, the same thing, every single detail of every mitzvah was given at Sinai. And it's explained further that we have a special mitzvah over here.
What?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh wow! You put the rolls today now.
Yeah. We're supposed to find out.
So the Torah tells us that every single detail, every mitzvah was given at Sinai. But the Rebbe asks further, well, why is this one given as a sample mitzvah? So we know one of the reasons given is because it's such a fundamental mitzvah, which we really have to have complete faith and trust in Hashem. We're giving completely over, and that's why that's the example of a mitzvah which was done at Sinai. But the Rebbe says a step further. The Rebbe says that you have mitzvahs, most of the mitzvahs are for a specific amount, a small amount of time. For example, lighting Shabbat candles. How long does it take to light Shabbat candles? How long does it take to light Shabbat candles? 4 seconds? Okay, with the bracha, 22 seconds? Tefillin, how long does it take to put on tefillin? You do the mitzvah and it's done. Some people do it in 5 minutes in the morning. We try to daven the whole davening in the morning, 50 minutes, and that's it. You have mitzvahs which are a little longer. You have the mitzvah, let's say, of sukkahs, where we're obligated to eat in the mitzvah, to eat in the sukkah, to do the mitzvah sukkahs, for a full week. Outside of Israel, Pesach, full 8 days. Okay. The biggest, I think the longest mitzvah you have is 49 days. And that's mitzvah counting the Omer, which we're doing every day now, between Pesach and Shavuos. We count the Omer 49 days. But then there's one mitzvah that happens once in 7 years that happens for a full year. That's mitzvah of Shemitah. Shemitah is a full year mitzvah. Now, how do we say year in Hebrew? Shana. Shana is connected to the word shinui, which means change. Because in a year, we have changes in a year. We have different seasons in a year. One season following another. There's different seasons in a year. And so a year's made different seasons. So we have here some Israelis. So the rule is in Israel, everybody has to go to the army. Unless you're serving the country in a different way. For example, if you're in yeshiva, then if you're in yeshiva, you have a tour, you're exempt from the army because you're protecting, the country recognizes you're protecting the country by studying in yeshiva. That's the way it was by David HaMelech. Going back to David HaMelech, for each soldier he had fighting on the field, he had someone studying in yeshiva on his behalf. And that person studying yeshiva knew that they better study hard because their studying is protecting the soldier out there. And so, even today, Israel, they recognize that, and therefore, if you're studying in yeshiva, you don't have to go to the army. There's one caveat to that. You have to study in yeshiva in Israel. That's the rule. Outside of Israel, it doesn't work. However, in Chabad circles, they always wanted to go to yeshiva by the Rebbe. My brother-in-law, he did the army, and then he went to yeshiva by the Rebbe. But what they did is they had connections, try to have connections, and we had connections. Actually, was Zalman Shazar, who later became the president of Israel. So he came from a Chabad family, and he gave them 6 months. Back in the day, they were able to go 6 months. They were able to leave Israel, be 6 months in 770, by the Rebbe, and they have to go back and either be yeshiva in Israel or in the army. Then one day, President Shazar was meeting with the Rebbe, and the Rebbe explained to him, he used to come to New York every time he come to New York, he would go right away to meet the Rebbe. His first stop, he came to the Rebbe, take care of business first. And the Rebbe explained to him that the students really want to be in yeshiva in 770. They want to be there for a full year, because for the full year, you can't compare a full year. You get a full package. You have half a year. It's not the same thing. And the idea is a full shana, a full year. You have the shinu. You have all the differences that occur throughout the year, and they want to experience the whole thing. Shazar came back to Israel. He changed the rules. Until today, they're allowed to leave Israel for a full year because of that. In any case, what does it represent? The different seasons. So the Rebbe explains the different seasons represent Shabbat Shalom. The different seasons represent different aspects in life. We have sometimes in life where it's spring, it's summer, we're enjoying life, and sometimes in life it's a bitter winter. It's not so enjoyable. We go through things that's not so enjoyable. But a Jew has to remember that when it comes to serving Hashem, we have to serve Hashem all year. Not when things are beautiful, when things are rosy, but always things are rosy. We have to serve Hashem, and when things suck, we also have to serve Hashem. We always have to be connected to Hashem, and that's the message of Shemitah, and that's why Shemitah is the example of the mitzvah which we're connected to Hashem. Shemitah is for a full shana, for a full year. Shemitah represents serving Hashem when it's tough, when it means you're giving up everything. You're giving up everything to serve Hashem. You're giving up everything to be there. You're giving up your whole business, your whole life, your whole livelihood, your life you have. And so that's why Shemitah was chosen for this mitzvah, because a Jew is not a seasonal Jew. It's not about being a Jew within a certain season. It's every season. One season following another. Every season, no matter what, we're there, we're serving Hashem. Thick and too thin, to summer, and hopefully we only have summers. That's why we come to Miami, we only have summers. No tough times. Only summer. Good Shabbos. We're going to do pre-mincha on page 148. Whoever's watching, don't forget to